This issue of Sifuna and what is happening around ODM. I told you that the party was right in what they did. It does not usually matter what the public really thinks, but there is something about the law of political parties, and I think I understand that quite well. In a political party, there is a national executive committee. When the national executive committee makes a decision, the decision is the decision of the party and it's binding. A secretary general is a voice of the party, essentially a voice of the national executive committee. A secretary general is not an owner of the party. A secretary general is not the party. He speaks what the party agrees upon. And as I told you from the onset, you can't purport to be a secretary general of a party whose decisions you don't want to be in agreement with. So for me, I've always argued that it is quite populist for my elder brother, Honorable Sifuna, to come to the public and want to dissuade the public to believe that his stand is the best for the country and therefore he's the one who is leading ODM the right path. But you see, when you are a secretary general, the place where you should be having that argument is in the NEC meeting and in the management meeting. You convince the party at that level, then you come out and speak the united voice of the party. You can't be able, when you sit in a NEC meeting and your voice is, your opinion is does not get the numbers, then you communicate the decision that took the numbers, not your personal opinion. And if you must communicate your personal opinion, the honorable thing, actually the legal thing to do, and the good manners in that manner, is you leave the position of Secretary General so that you stop speaking for the party. Then you can speak as a member. That's why today I can be able to speak against some things within the Jubilee Party because I'm still a member of the party. Okay? But when I'm an official, I must communicate the position of the party. But Sifuna wants to have the privileges of a member, but with the privileges again of the Secretary General. That's why I said it was when you avoid being populist about it and when you avoid being emotional and sentimental about it, you'll just realize that he was actually doing the wrong thing. So the NEC is actually right to say if you cannot speak for the party, someone else has to be given an opportunity to speak for the party. And I agree with my brother from DCP when he says that why the jostling and the struggle to remain in this party that you are constantly saying is not headed the right direction? Because Sifuna is saying this direction is wrong. This party is making the wrong decisions. And then the people, we have some people who are not necessarily members of ODM, who are on the street and saying, yes, we agree with you, come to us. And then after he goes to them, they embrace them, but he wants to be embraced by them but also remain a member of ODM. Because Kagai here is not a member of ODM, and he has embraced Sifuna. But Sifuna is insisting that he must be in ODM. So it becomes counterproductive. You know, any leader must be able to make decisive decisions. We have qualities that make a leader. A leader must be visionary, and a leader must make decisions. Because you must lead people somewhere. And that's why we have leaders that have some following that you cannot compromise. For instance, people like the DCP party leader. The reason he has that chunk of following today is not necessarily because all his decisions are the best, but because he can be predictable. People can be able to say, you know, when these guys decided like this, he formed a party, and this is the path we are heading on. We look at Raila Odinga, when he didn't agree with his father, he moved out of Ford Kenya, got ODM, and moved people that direction. Today, President William Ruto is president today because he's a product of a vision and the decisions that he was making. But when you look at Honorable Sifuna, he wants to have his cake and eat it. He wants to be in Linda Mwananchi. He wants to have Jubilee members. He also wants to have Wiper members. He wants to have some sympathy from DCP. He wants to be with the people of the Gen Z community, but he also still wants to be Secretary General of the ODM party. That party that he again calls dead. That party that is said to be dead. That party that is said to be useless. That party that is said to be leading people the wrong direction. That is still the party that Sifuna wants to be part of. I get confused sometimes with that.